Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to deliver your October 2016 general readings. I am still using my beloved Gilded Tarot deck by artist Cyril Marchetti. And I will be pulling the customary 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck as your crowning card, representing overall energy and advice for the reading. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign as well. You may find that they play out a little more predictably for you some months and some readings. And it just gives you a more whole, clear view of the picture of the time frame that the reading covers. And if you're like me, I often find that each of my 3 signs, sun, moon, and rising, play out for me each month just in different areas of my life. So just check all 3 if you can. Keeping in mind, of course, that these are general readings and they're not going to resonate the same for everyone, or some of you not at all, because, how could they possibly? There's so many of you watching. So if you don't know your rising and your moon sign, there's lots of free websites out there that you can go in and type in your relevant information, although I believe you have to have your birth time to do that. So anyway, check all 3 if you can, if you have the time. Thank you, always thank you for continuing to watch and listen and subscribe to the channel and help it grow, which is doing really, really well. I see that the family is just about at 11,000 now, thanks to all of you, because it wouldn't be possible without you, and you are the reason why I do this, why all of us readers do this. At least I think so. So thank you very much for all your support and feedback and those comments. You guys are so wonderful with the comments and so descriptive. And while I always get a lot of comments on the YouTube video comment feed itself, I find that as the months go by, there is a lot more of you who send me emails directly describing in a little more detail how the readings resonate for you in your own lives. And I absolutely love reading them. I, of course, don't have time to respond to all of them personally, but trust me, I do read each and every single one. So thank you so much for doing that. Sometimes they, actually just a few days ago, I read a comment from a subscriber that he emailed to me that actually gave me a little bit of a different insight into a card that I had never kind of considered before. And it's wonderful that even after 25, 26 years of doing this, I continue to learn and will probably continue to learn for the next 25, 26 years, if I have that long, because the tarot is so complex, and I'll never learn everything there is to know about it. But you guys help very much with that, so you teach me just as much as I could possibly teach you. So thank you very much for being a part of that. Thank you always. Always a special thank you to those of you who continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings. It's such a pleasure and an honor to read for you, and I'm so grateful for the trust that you place in me to interpret and intuit the cards for you. And thank you, a shout out as well to my regular clients for allowing me to be a part of your life on a regular basis, and for the wonderful updates you continue to send me and how everything plays out for you. I love the personal interaction and being part of the story as time goes on. It's like reading a book with endless chapters. So thank you for that. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you have not read with me before, you can click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage. That'll give you a little bit more information and my contact info and email, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. If you are interested, I would be delighted to do a reading with you. They're my favorite things to do. So send me an email. We'll set something up for you. In terms of turnaround time, which I'm always asked about, it can really be anywhere from a few days to a week and a half to 2 weeks, almost always within a 2-week span of time. I do readings full time, so I'm pretty good at getting back with you quickly and working with your schedule to set something up within a fairly timely fashion. So if you're interested, send me an email, and I would love to work with you. So enough of all of that. Let's move right on into this. This reading is for Virgo for October 2016. Virgo, October 2016. Show me the energies for the earth sign of Virgo. October 2016. What does Virgo need to see? What does Virgo need to know for the upcoming month of October 2016. I am recording these videos in the last couple of days of September. Virgo, October 2016. What does the beautiful month of October hold for Virgo? Okay. Okay, Virgo, we begin with the Eight of Pentacles, followed by the Moon, the Ten of Cups, followed by the Three of Wands, the Six of Swords, followed by the Ten of Wands, and the Hierophant, followed by the Knight of Wands. From the bottom of the deck, your crowning card overall energy is the Nine of Cups. That's a beautiful card to have as your overall energy, wish fulfillment. Let's just take a look here, Virgo. I have a fan on in the background, and I hope the sound doesn't interfere too much. If it does, I apologize. We're going through our last mini heat wave of the summer here in Northern California, and if I don't have it on, I will melt in my chair. Okay. It's interesting. I'm almost halfway through the signs for the October generals, and for most, if not all of the signs I've done so far, there seems to be this, the Ten of Cups keeps coming up. There seems to be this theme of cycles ending and things beginning, but that kind of happy home, family-rooted energy going on for a lot of the signs. Okay, let's begin, Virgo. So we find ourselves at the beginning of October 2016, Virgo, with the Eight of Pentacles, followed by the major arcana card of the Moon. So the Eight of Pentacles. Pentacles is governed by Earth. So Pentacles is a suit that is about things in our earthly material, tangible, physical world. It's often about things we can see and touch and feel, although you can apply these same energies to love, relationships, and spirituality as well. But even there, they're tangible, almost palpable energies or tangible results of the efforts we put into something. But Pentacles often represents things like money, finances, property, assets, job, etc. Those very real world, physical world things. And the Eight of Pentacles I often refer to as the worker bee card, because that's what it represents. Work, the slow, steady, but successful building up of the foundation of something due to your diligence and perseverance and the efforts that you're putting into it. You can see that this man is hard at work at his desk on this Eighth Pentacle. The other seven that he has worked on are dancing in the air above him, and he is putting just as much attention and detail into the eighth one as he likely did with the other seven. You can see that outside the sun is setting. He has already lit his candles to see better by. This can also be a card of putting in overtime, working very hard. He appears to be alone. Everybody else is probably having their after work cocktail or beer, but he's not. He's still at his desk hard at work because he has a goal. He has something that he's working for, something that he has a goal, he has a dream, and he's building up the foundation for that. And he's being very successful because we're at the eight here. We're at the Eight of Pentacles, working very hard, diligence, perseverance, dedication, hard work, attention to detail as well. Sometimes this can be a card of, perhaps you're burning the candle at both ends. Sometimes it can be a card of overwork. But in the upright position, it's just, it's a lovely, earth energy, just being very dedicated, persevering at something, but working towards a goal. You're building up a foundation for something. And it feels like at the beginning of October, perhaps the end of September, Virgo, whatever effort, this length of time and effort that you've been putting into this, this dream, this goal you have that looks like it's oriented around family, home, relationships, a stable foundation for your future. You may hit a point at the end of September or the beginning of October. We have the energy of the Moon card, this major arcana card, which now, major arcana cards represent significant and profound energies, advice, life shifts, and changes as well. They do represent those divine energies coming in, which we have no control over, except, of course, how we choose to react and decisions that we make. The Moon card can represent, the Moon card can sometimes represent being at a place where the path seems kind of cloudy, foggy. You're not really sure exactly what lies ahead of you. It can feel a little confusing sometimes, feeling like you're maybe just drifting or that you don't have enough information. It can sometimes represent things not always being what they appear to be, as things look very different by the light of the moon than they do by the light of the sun. By the light of the moon, there's a lot of shadowy corners, hidden recesses. Things are a little different. It can also point to that very deep spiritual, almost primal intuitive side of us as well. That kind of shifting undercurrent of feelings that come up sometimes, even if we can't pinpoint exactly what it is. But I think for you, Virgo, end of September, beginning of October, you may find yourself, some of you, at a place where you've been working very hard at something, and it's about building a foundation for a dream you have about your future. And it could be something as concrete as an actual home in terms of the actual house itself, perhaps working a job to working to put aside money for a home, to get married, to have a family, something to do with that family if it's already an established family, something to do with your future, a stable, rooted continuity kind of future. For some of you, you can translate this energy in just relationships sectors itself. It could be just financially related. It could be the work that you're putting into a relationship in a less concrete way, and just energy, emotional, mental energy as well. For some of you, I'm actually getting a pretty distinctive kind of career path energy off of this as well. But it feels like maybe around the beginning of October, you may hit a point where you're like tired, I think. Perhaps you've been working a lot lately, again, burning the candles at both ends, putting in overtime on something. It could be an actual job or just a project itself. And maybe for a time you find a place, yourself at a place where you're tired and you're wondering what you're doing. It feels like, you've been doing this forever and you're going to be doing this forever. Something may occur that causes you a little bit of a blip, like, what am I doing this for? Is this still really what I want? It just may feel like for a minute, and I think it's just a minute because I feel like this energy is pretty fluid and transitional, that you just, something happens maybe to make you question the path that you're on or what you're working towards. But I feel like for the majority of you, Virgo, it's just, I feel like you're just tired. This is coming from a sense of exhaustion, of being tired. For some of you, whatever this is that you've been working for, I just got house. Some of you, I think, are putting aside money for a house. You've been working for quite a while to move into your house or have renovations to buy a home, I feel, move into a new home, start a family, some of you, but it's very concrete in terms of the actual house itself. Something may happen that, may cause you some doubts or insecurities or fears about whether it's actually possible or not. I think for some of you, I'm getting this actual concrete house thing. It could be that you've maybe put a bid in on a house, or you've applied for a loan somewhere, and there may be a chance, or you feel like there may be a chance you don't get it, something like that, and it causes you what I feel is more of a momentary sense of insecurity, or is this really going to happen? That again feels very specifically oriented toward somebody or a handful of somebodies. But of course, because there's so many of you watching it, this story is going to split off a few different ways. It's going to, resonate differently. For some of you, this could be more relationship oriented or more family oriented. That's interesting. I'm just getting that some of you have been working hard, working for a long time, putting money aside to bring family somewhere, to bring your family to you, bring your family from another country, maybe a spouse and children from another country. That's interesting. I don't think I've gotten that one before. Yeah, I feel like some of you have been working very hard, putting money aside to bring some relatives from somewhere else, maybe from another country. Maybe it's your family that you're bringing over, something like that. You're working very hard not only to bring them over, but to provide a stable living situation for them. That's interesting. So right next to that, we have the Ten of Cups, followed by the Three of Wands. So the Ten of Cups. Cups is governed by the element of water. So it's all about that fluid, watery world of feelings and emotions, relationships, love, how we relate to people. All different kinds of relationships, all different kinds of love, from personal, romantic, sexual relationships to family, to children, business relationships, friends, etc. The Ten of Cups tend to represent the end of a cycle, the culmination of something, a cycle coming to a close, something coming full circle. But this is a beautiful energy. It's cups. It represents all of your emotional cups being filled, as you can see by the symbolism of this beautiful rainbow of upright goblets. It represents the height, the peak of emotional contentment, kind of that place where everything feels like it's come together and everything's in its right place and everything is just as it's meant to be, and you're really, really happy and content in kind of a very deep, inner rooted sort of way. The artist of the Gilded Tarot, Ciro Marchetti, depicted this as if it were what he were coming home to at the end of the day. The beautiful, lovely cottage, cozy home, not a great big huge 15-bedroom mansion, but something that actually feels much more home-like and cozy than that. The symbolism of perhaps the wife and the daughter, enjoying the day. It's just a very cozy, lovely feeling. This is the Ten of Cups is sometimes referred to as the happy home card, the happily ever after card. It's just the point in the story where everything kind of comes together and you feel like finally, after what appears to be a very significant amount of work and waiting and patience, and perhaps, sometimes not being really sure if everything was going to work out, things are actually beginning to come together, to coalesce for you in the month of October. Maybe around the second week or so, this energy comes in. It feels like you've done the last bit of work on something. Again, for some of you, you've like applied for a home loan, or you've put a bid on a house, because I'm getting a lot of energy in a few different stories, but it's actually about a specific home. For some of you, it's bringing family over and providing a home, or saving for a bigger home for them to be in when they come over. But it's about the future, and I feel like the first week of October, maybe the second week of October, it feels like you've begun that process in a very concrete way, and you're waiting now for the results. You're waiting to see how things play out. Perhaps you've sent for family and they're on their way. You're waiting to see about this home perhaps that you've bid on. For some of you, this could be in more of a relationship energy, and perhaps you've proposed marriage to somebody, because I feel like, this could represent energy coming in as well, but Virgo, I feel like for you, it's you're doing the work and you're putting something out there, like putting the last little details into it, and now you're waiting to see how things play out, because that Ten of Cups is accompanied by the Three of Wands, which is a card of gestation and waiting after having done everything that you can do. Wands is governed by the element of fire. So it's a very fiery, fluid, active, action-oriented suit. It's all about manifesting, creating, building. It often can point to projects, artistic endeavors, careers, etc. For some of you, this is career energy, but it has a pretty significant, profound impact on your family and your home life as well. So even though the Suit of Wands is a pretty active suit, the Three of Wands is a card within that suit it's slower. The energy is slower. Again, it's more gestative. It's a waiting period. It points to being at a place where you have done everything you can. You've been pretty successful so far. You've put in a lot of work into this thing. You've planted the seeds. You've done all your research. You outfitted the ship. You sent it out, and now you're waiting to see what is it bringing back as it's coming back into the harbor. Is it going to be full, half full? You've done everything you can, and you're waiting to see how things play out. It's still a very forward-looking, future-oriented card, but it represents that place in between, that place after you've reached a certain spot where you've done all the work you needed to put something out, and now you're waiting to see what the results are. And it's connected to the Ten of Cups, so it is about that family, home harmony, that dream. And how that plays out specifically is going to vary because this is a general reading. I've gotten a few different energies for stories about bringing family over and buying your first home. And for some of you, it may be on a career path, but that somehow affects your family. Oh, I just got moving. Relocation for work for some of you. Which is interesting because the very next combination of cards is the Six of Swords, which can represent travel and travel over water, paired with the Ten of Wands, another 10. The last sign I did, which I believe was Aquarius, also had two tens, two different tens, but cycles ending and things beginning, things coming to a close so that new beginnings can happen. But for you, Virgo, I feel like it's more about the next chapter, one chapter ending and the next chapter. There's a real continuity flow here. So we have the Six of Wands with the Ten of Wands. Sorry, Six of Swords with the Ten of Wands. So Swords is a suit governed by air. It's a suit that governs what goes on up here. Thoughts, words, ideas, mental outlooks, perspectives, perceptions, how we look at things, how we see things. It's a very mental and cerebral suit. The Six of Swords is a card. It's a card of movement. It's a transitional energy card too. It can represent travel, and it can represent travel over water. For some of you, you may be traveling. Again, I'm getting that bringing family over. Some of you are, you're bringing family over from somewhere. Some of you may be traveling to see family. Maybe some of you have been, in a different location, or you went to a different country to work for a while and put aside a lot of money, and now you're going back home, or you're going back to your roots of origin or the country that you started from. Some of you are bringing family back over. It feels like a significant distance, though, like international travel. So for those of you for whom that applies, but it's very positive. The Six of Swords can also represent that transitional energy of moving from a troubled, turbulent, chaotic, painful, or just challenging time into a time where things are more settled, more peaceful, more smooth. There's a healing, restorative energy to the Six of Swords as well. In other tarot decks, I've seen this card where the water behind the boat is actually very choppy and wavy and turbulent, and the water in front of the boat is very smooth and placid and serene. It's a transitional energy card, meaning that here's the time where that was challenging or chaotic or turbulent, or perhaps for you, Virgo, just it represents this length of time that you were putting in all this work and all this effort into building up for whatever this future represents for you. And here's the time where it's all done. Everything's kind of come together. You're not quite there yet, but this is a card that represents the movement from here to there. So it's transitional. You're moving into a really good place. And that really good place represents the end of a cycle, the end of what for you has been a burden. And again, what that burden is going to play out differently. For some of you, it's moving from a time that was very difficult or painful or challenging. Some of you may have experienced some kind of trauma or illness too, which greatly affected your home and family life. For others of you, I've already gone through the other energies of the stories I've gotten so far, but it represents a laying down of a burden, the ending of a cycle, even just a long slog of hard work, it's coming to an end. That's what you're moving towards, because that Six of Swords is paired with the Ten of Wands, which is the card of a burden coming to an end, another 10, another cycle ending, and new beginnings starting. I mean, your overall energy is the Nine of Cups, Virgo. I wish I had the overall energy of the Nine of Cups this month. It's a beautiful energy. Wish fulfillment. It is coming together for you this month. You can see on the Ten of Wands, this man is carrying these 10 wands on his back, and boy, are they heavy. And I always get a long-standing feeling with this card. I feel like it started off as 1 or 2 wands, and he just kept picking up wands, and it's just heavy. But he's been successful. It's like that Eight of Pentacles. He's been successful at carrying this burden. He hasn't dropped any, or if he has, he's managed to pick them up and keep on going. He's been successful with whatever this burden or this challenge has been. And he's at the end. You can see his head is up and he's looking at something. He's looking at his destination. He's at that place, just about at that place where he can lay this burden down and stand up and take a deep breath. That's what you're moving towards. We're around maybe the 3rd week of October. Time being fluid, of course, it could go a few days in either direction. So at or towards the end of October 2016, Virgo, we have the major arcana card of the Hierophant, paired with the Knight of Wands. So the Hierophant represents, it's actually a great card with the Ten of Cups too, because the energy is somewhat similar. This is where everything comes together, this rooted, stable sense of continuity. The Hierophant is about convention, tradition, following the prescribed path, belonging to a large group of people who are kind of all headed in the same direction, doing the same thing. It can represent organized religions, large corporations, businesses, institutions. It can represent higher learning and education. For some of you, perhaps you've been at school, you've been at education, or you've been at university, maybe for some number of years doing all this hard work, and you're finally at the graduation point. You're going to be able to go home or move into that next phase with what your higher education has garnered you. The Hierophant can also represent a person in your life who is who kind of represents the Hierophant, somebody, a wise, trusted person that you seek advice from, because the Hierophant is depicted as a priest of sorts, somebody that you could seek advice, guidance, and feedback from, perhaps even a spiritual person for spiritual guidance as well. So there's an offer or an opportunity at the end of the month, and I feel like this is what you've been working for, and what you put something out there, you're waiting for it, you're moving into a good place, and at the end of the month, this is where it kind of comes in, the end of October, perhaps the beginning of November. This offer opportunity comes in as represented by the Knight of Wands. So again, we have that fiery wand suit that's all about, forward motion, change, movement. Knights are the deliverers, the bringers of the tarot. They are typically associated with a fair amount of speed, as they're knights. They were the ones sent off on missions and quests. They were meant to go charging off and bring back results. Out of all 4 of the knights, the Knight of Wands is actually the fastest, the most spontaneous and impulsive, because he's governed by fire. Sometimes you have to be a little cautious with the energy of the Knight of Wands, because it can cause us to kind of not look to see if there's water in the pool before we jump. But something's coming in quite quickly at the end of October or beginning of November. An offer, an offering, an opportunity of some kind. There's a lot of energy with this. It's exciting, enthusiastic. It's very swift moving. And paired with the Hierophant, this could be coming from somebody who is playing the role of the Hierophant in your life. But it could also just represent that energy, the Hierophant, the Ten of Cups, that kind of stable, rooted, conventional, almost white picket fence kind of energy. Again, it's what you've been working for, whatever it is specifically, because, it really could be a variety of things. Career path for some of you as well too. Some of you, again, are graduating and you're moving into that next phase, and the Hierophant could represent, that first job, the corporation you move into. Again, it's going to play out differently, but it feels like it actually comes in quite quickly at the end of the month or the beginning of November, and it's moving forward quite quickly. But it's what you've been what you've been working for, what you've been waiting for, what you've been investing in. It is all coming together. And there's such a sense of happiness and of, I mean, you have the wish fulfillment card as your overall crowning energy. We have the Nine of Cups as your crowning card. This is, again, you have, it's pretty beautiful, Virgo. You have the 9 and the 10 of Cups in your reading. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy. It's kind of a nice mix too. You've got this lovely, solid, rooted, stable energy of home and hearth and family and things coming together. You've got the Knight of Wands kind of charging in to bring it all together at the end. It feels like there's this finally kind of sense, this energy of finally it's all coming together, because it feels like that Eight of Pentacles we began with has taken quite some time, but it's coming together for you beautifully. Wish fulfillment card. This is a card of, like the Ten of Cups, it's a card of abundance, of your cups overflowing, of having not just enough for you, but enough for everybody around you, family, friends, whatever this is. It is of strong benefit to, again, those closest around you. For a lot of you, it's connected some way to family. You can see this man is raising his goblet up in the air. In other tarot decks, this man is portrayed as a bit more rotund and portly. The implication being that he has more than enough to eat, more than enough to drink. His physical surroundings are comfortable. This is an abundance, and it's cups, which is emotions and feelings. There's more of a visceral, sensual, decadent feel to this kind of abundance than the Ten of Cups, which feels a little more heart-oriented. But with both of them together in the same reading, it's abundance. It's beautiful, beautiful abundance. All of your hard work is finally paying off, and I'm curious to see what this is for those of you. I'm getting bringing family over. I'm getting marriage. I'm getting graduation. A variety of different stories. So please write me and let me know, for those of you for whom this makes sense. Let me know how this plays out specifically for you. It's a lovely reading, lovely energy, just beautiful. Good for you. All your hard work and dedication and patience is paying off, especially towards the end of the month and going into November, Virgo. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading, Virgo. I hope it has made sense to you and that you found it useful, that it's brought you even just a little bit of wisdom and insight and clarity moving forward and through October. And again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on that little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, and you can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the October 2016 mid-month readings. And until then, Virgo, thank you so very much for watching and for following this channel. And I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy, happy life. And good luck for you. It looks like October is going to be a great one. We'll see you later, Virgo.